Kicking off at number 10, it is Labyrinth of Refrain Coven of Dusk. Now, it is one of the best first-person dungeon crawlers almost nobody played, and that genuinely annoys me. Nippon Ichi put it out, it slipped past everyone under the bigger releases of the year, and now it just sits there, doing nothing. Best part about this game is that you are not the hero. You are a sentient magical book carried around by a cold, secretive witch named Dronya, who builds an army of puppet soldiers and throws them into a cursed labyrinth to dig out whatever is buried at the bottom. I went in expecting a thin excuse plot to justify the dungeon crawling, but what I got was a genuinely dark, messed up story about revenge and abuse, and a couple of twists that completely recontextualize everything you have done. It is a slow burn and the front half is too quiet, but it earns its ending. It is so good, guys. And the reason you actually play this game is because of the Coven system. It is brilliant. You build up to 40 puppet soldiers out of soul clay, pick their classes, and then stack multiple puppets into single units with formations that decide who tanks, who's protected, and who gets hit. One slot on your team might be 3 or 4 puppets crammed together, swinging at once. Working out which classes stack well and breaking it in a fun ways is some of the most satisfying party building I've ever messed with. It's so good. Combat is your usual turn-based, and man, the game is challenging, man. And the dead puppets stay dead unless you reincarnate their souls into new bodies, which is a whole rabbit hole again in the min-maxing of this game. It's like this guy, this guy will always do that too, right? Okay, so this game is not for everyone, and I will not pretend otherwise. It is grindy, it is menu heavy, and it barely explains itself, and the difficulty curve is a mess. But you are paying this for a full game, and it goes on sale constantly for next to nothing, and there is an absurd amount to do for that amount of money. And if you like a dense JRPG, this is worth playing. At number 9, it is Trinity Trigger. Now, this one is a top-down action RPG where you play as a kid called Cian, who's apparently the god of destruction. And you run around with 2 companions and a bunch of living weapons, saving the world. The story does nothing for me, honestly. It's the most basic save the world plot you can imagine, but the characters are likable enough, and that's about the nicest thing I'll say about the writing. What kept me playing is actually the combat. Even though it's not deep, you swap between 8 weapon types on the fly, and each one feels different, and I had a good time just messing about with the combat itself. But I'm not going to lie to you, it's mostly mashing attack, the enemies barely change, and the dungeons start blending together way too fast. Now, it got this repetitive feel, and I felt it, but oh my god, the co-op is the actual saving grace here. If you have got someone to play with, you will have a very fun time because you play with somebody on the couch, you laugh, you have fun, it's good. So yeah, it's a pretty chill game in my opinion. So overall, this game is pretty okay. I like Trinity Trigger, but I don't think it's worth the full price, obviously. Not even close, man. It's a chill, easy, switch your brain off kind of game with a great soundtrack, and on sale for cheap, just grab it. It's a no-brainer. If you want deep gameplay or a story that, is very memorable to you, yeah, this one is not it. But it is fun, that's all. That's all I'm saying. It is fun, that is why it is sitting on my list right now. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So try this one out. If you like it, play it. If not, you can refund it. At number 8, it is Fuga Melodies of Steel. Now I know they have 1, 2, and 3, but let's just start with this one. Because this is a turn-based JRPG, it's just actually an RPG. This game did not go the way I expected. On the surface, it's a bunch of cute cartoon animal kids who find a giant tank and use it to fight back against an invading empire. Looks quite harmless. Actually looks quite fun. But this is a brutal war story about children losing everything, and the game spends its whole runtime making you care about these 12 kids and then constantly threatening to take them from you. The setting is basically a furry version of World War II, and it does not pull its punches. I actually like it because it is unique. The combat is turn-based and built around your tanks, 3 weapon types, each strong against a different enemy armor, so there is a constant little puzzle of swapping guns and chaining attacks. It is solid, but I will not pretend that it is deep. and after a while, the battles do start a bit quite repetitive. But what makes this game unforgettable is the soul cannon. So when your tank is about to go down, you get the option to load one of the children into a cannon and fire it to wipe the entire screen. And that kid dies permanently. Like, what the fuck? The game dangles this in front of you in your worst moments and dares you to do it. And I cannot tell you how much that one mechanic messed people up. I don't know, but it is quite fun though. Does that mean I'm a sociopath? I don't know. It's just a game. So I'll be straight with you. This one is a proper hidden gem and one of the most quietly devastating games I have played. The combat is fine, a bit repetitive, and the management bits between battles are quite light. None of that matters though, because the story and that one horrible choice carry the entire thing. And this game is not too long either, which I appreciate. It says what it needs to do and gets out. If you want a turn-based RPG that will actually make you feel something, go get this one. And of course, go get this one on sale. I know if Fury is not your thing, it is reasonable. I mean, it's fair. It wasn't my thing either at first, but just try it out. It is quite fun actually. So yeah, get this one. There's 1, 2, and 3. Go get all of it, and I know you will have a ton of fun playing this game. Number 7, it is Crosscode, and I'll admit this is the least obscure game on my list, and it's got good reviews everywhere, especially from the fanbase. But the number of JRPG players who have still never touched this game is way too high, so it earns a spot anyway. So Crosscode is a 2D action RPG set inside a fictional sci-fi MMO called Crossworlds, and you play as this Leah, or Lee, a player who wakes up inside the game with no memory and can barely speak a word. And the combat is real time, it is high octane and quite challenging. You are throwing energy balls to hit enemies at range, dashing in for melee, and bouncing those balls off walls to reach things that you cannot hit directly. On top of that, there are 4 elements: heat, cold, shock, and wave, and you switch between them mid-fight to break enemy shields and exploit their weaknesses. When a fight gets going and you're juggling those dashing, aiming, and swapping elements all at once, it's so good, man. It feels satisfying. I don't know how to explain it more. It just feels so good to play this game. But the thing I want to highlight most is the puzzle design, because it's some of the best I have ever seen in any JRPG. And I say that as someone who normally don't like puzzles, just skip it all the way. The dungeons mix combat with these ball bouncing physics puzzles that actually made me, think and pretty fun to play. I don't know, like, it's just so fun, okay? There are over 40 hours of content here with close to 0 padding, and a new home DLC adds a proper epilogue that's worth playing once you are done. Now, my complaint is that the story is quite slow at the earlier stages of the game, and it kind of leans on the mystery of who Leah is and why she cannot talk. And it takes a while before that pull actually pays off. So if you need a strong narrative, I mean, this is not it, right? But it goes on sale regularly and the DLC is pretty cheap. The game is straight to the point and it's just a good indie gem JRPGs. Just buy it then, and I know you will have a ton of fun playing this game. At number 6, it is Resonance of Fate. Now, this is a Tri-Ace game from 2010 that got released on Steam in 2018. And goddamn, man, this game! Holy! If you have never played this one, it's your loss. It is set on a dying steampunk Earth kept alive by a giant tower called Basil, and you are following 3 mercenaries scraping by on odd jobs. But the combat, man, is unlike anything else in this genre. You send your characters running along set paths across the battlefield in real time to charge up your gauge. Then cash that gauge in for these slow motion gun runs where you are leaping through the air, unloading on everything that moves. There's a direct damage system layered on top, where you chip an enemy's health down with one attack type before another can actually finish them off. So you are constantly working out how to approach single fights, and this is probably the most satisfying battle systems I've ever touched in my game. In my life, bro. Come on. The only downside about this game is that getting it to click, it takes way too long. Like, if you remember playing Final Fantasy VII in your PS1 and you summon this Bahamut, yeah, it takes way too long. And the game throws you in with barely a word of explanation, and I got my ass kicked over and over and over again until it made sense. So I guess I understand why people quit playing this game in the first 2 hours, because you don't get an explanation and the game is quite challenging. But if you wanna try a unique JRPG, man, try this one. I know you will not regret it, but of course, buy it on sale. In number 5, it is Dust Diver 2. Now this one is an alright game. It is a hidden gem because maybe some people like it, some people don't. But I mean that as an actual compliment more than it sounds, alright? It is a small budget action RPG out of Taiwan that knows exactly what it is and doesn't try to be more. And there is something I respect about that, even when it's not blowing me away. So you play as Yumo, a high school girl who gets pulled into a hidden mirror version of the Shimenting shopping district in Taipei called Youshanting, where she fights monsters alongside a group of guardian spirits. The setting is hands down the best thing this game has, a real recognizable Taipei street district full of shops and arcades and food stalls flip into this supernatural battleground. It gives it a sense of place that most games this size never come close to. When I wasn't fighting, I enjoyed just wandering around it, poking into shops and hanging out with the cast in this slice of life downtime between missions. I mean, that stuff is charming. It's like Persona, okay? The combat is where my feelings it can get mixed, alright. It is a 3D brawler where you swap between Yumo and her guardians on the fly, each one with their own moves and combos, and when you've got a good rhythm going on, it's pretty good. Yeah, right, it feels satisfying too. But the issue of this game is, I don't know, the repetitiveness, right? You are fighting the same handful of enemies in the same flat arenas over and over again. The mission design is repetitive, and there is a real grind if you want to keep everyone leveled and your skills upgraded. It looks noticeably better than the first game, of course, and it runs a lot smoother, so it is clearly a step up from the previous one. But no amount of polish hides the fact that the core loop is kinda boring, right? I don't know, I don't want to say it's boring, alright, but you get the idea. It is the kind of combat that funds for an evening and just that's it. Maybe you play 2 hours of it and yeah, that's it. The story though, I can take it or leave it. So if you come in cold and you don't know anything, I don't think you would want to care about them. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty mediocre game, but it is still quite fun. So that is why it is sitting on my list. Get this one on sale and I think you will have a fun time too. So yeah, Dust Diver 2, pretty good game. And at number 4, it is Chris Tales. And I have to admit, this is one of the most beautiful games I've ever laid my eyes upon. And of course, it is also one of the most frustrating ones I've actually had to play. So this game, it has this hand-drawn turn-based JRPG and the art is very, very stunning. Everything looks like it is crawled out of a stained glass window, all flossing lines and gorgeous colors, and the signature trick is that the screen is split into 3 at all times. You see the past on the left, the present in the middle, and the future on the right, all at once. So you are literally watching a town crumble or flourish depending on what you do. You play as Chrisbel, an orphan who finds out she's a time mage, picks up a talking frog companion and set off to stop a looming catastrophe. So as a thing to look at, nothing else does what this game does. And the first few hours is really good. The presentation is really good, the combat is nice, and talking about the combat is built around that same time gimmick, and on paper it is brilliant. It is turn-based, but you can fling enemies into the past or the future mid-fight, and you stack that with status effects to do real damage. Soak an enemy, then send it forward in time so it rusts, poison something, then push it into the future so the poison is already eaten through. Oh my god, make a grown enemy young and weak by sending it back. It is so fun, so fun. It is just a unique combat system. But the problem is, it doesn't go anywhere near as deep as it should. And the timing base hits and blocks, where you have to tap a button at the right time to add damage or reduce it, it gets fiddly and tiring after a long session. Well, that's just my opinion though, because I like my turn-based to be turn-based, not an action timing shit. Also, the fights are kinda slow. encounters can drag, and the clever ideas wear out their welcome because the game keeps throwing the same puzzles at you again and again. I wanted to love this combat system, and I think it is one of the best ideas they have in this, in this genre. They are trying something new, they are trying, to be their own game, which I respect that, but it is just not doing too well. But I really hope they don't stop making Chris Tales. I hope there's gonna be a Chris Tales 2, and pretty much, polishing the rough edges of their combat system. But with that being said, I think this game is still worth getting, especially if you want to try something new and you don't mind the repetitiveness, you don't mind the story being pretty mediocre. So yeah, I guess get this one. At number 3, it is the Caligula Effect 2, and this is the most slap-on SMT adjacent game on the whole platform right now. You've got a group of people trapped inside a virtual world called Redo, built by an AI idol called Regret, who wanted to give everyone a life with no pain. You join the Go Home Club, and they all want to go out. I mean, it sounds simple on paper, but the game digs into something I found weirdly fascinating, which is why a person would choose to stay in a fake world even after they know the truth. Every party member has a reason Redo felt safer than the real life, and the game takes those reasons that seriously instead of brushing past them. The writing is hands down the best thing about this game. Combat is real time, you queue up everyone's actions at once, and there's a prediction system that shows you exactly how a turn is going to play out before you lock it in. When you nail a perfectly chained set of attacks, it feels good, feels satisfying and rewarding. And the soundtrack is so fucking good. One of the best JRPG OSTs I have ever heard in years. I mean, not here in the video, but go check it out in YouTube or something. It is quite a letdown by the budget though. I mean, if probably if they have more budget, this game could be like game of the year. Because you can feel it, like most of the dungeons in this game is kind of bland to look at, and a few of them drag on way longer than they should be. So that's probably the one thing that I have my complaint on. But other than that, everything else feels fine, feels good to me, especially the writing. So it is on sale fairly often, so if you don't know about this already, go grab this one right now, especially for the summer sale. Yeah, summer sale is coming, and if you like the SMT stuff, man, I think you will like this game a lot. So that's pretty much about Caligula Effect 2. It's a good game in general, so that is why it is sitting on my list. And at number 2, it is Onikaki, an action JRPG from Square Enix. But Square Enix only publish it. The developer of this game is from Tokyo RPG Factory. I know this game has a mixed review on Steam, but I'm still putting it in my second. So let me explain a little bit about this game. You play as Kagachi, a watcher, and your job is guiding the souls of the dead onto reincarnation before grief twists them into monsters called the Fallen. Here's the part that got me though. The whole world runs on a belief that mourning is a sin, and because of that, crying for the dead is what traps them here. So as watcher, you are literally forbidden from grieving. I haven't seen many JRPGs build their entire world around an idea that is quite uncomfortable, and this one properly commits to it, so I do respect that. It goes to some properly bleak places, and the way it handles the line between the living and the dead is good. Combat runs on demons, spirits you bond with, that each hand you a totally different weapon and playstyle, which is really cool, and you flip between them mid-fight. Each one plays differently, that you can have a favorite and probably not your favorite. What am I saying? But yeah, but it is a good fast action JRPG, and playing them all feels good also. So yeah, I don't know, man, you just end up leveling all of them probably when playing this game. Now, I'm not going to lie to you because those mixed reviews didn't come from nowhere. The combat is functional but shallow next to a proper action JRPG. The areas, it gets recycled most of the time, and the limited budget shows just about everywhere you look at. All of this is a fair criticism, but the story and that central idea held onto this game, I mean, it's good. It's just a good hidden gem. And the game is memorable, it's insane, which is more than I can say for plenty of higher rated games I've completed in the past few years. So it drops on sale regularly. Of course, it's on Steam, so pick this up when it is on sale, not at full price, okay? For full price, this game is a no-no, but when you got it on sale for like maybe 70% off, get this one. It is quite memorable for me at least, but if it's not for you, then don't buy it. Just try it out first. If you don't like it, then just refund it, because again, this game is sitting in mixed reviews on Steam. Now in number 1, it is Rune Factory 4. Yes, I know. Now before you guys get mad at me, let me explain. Rune Factory 4 is one of the best of the series, and this was a big deal on the 3DS era. It was the game that really put Rune Factory on the map for a lot of people. And now, a few years later and a couple of ports later, it's just in this weird spot where it's quietly becoming a hidden gem, and I'm quite sad about it. So if you don't know what this game is, it's a farming simulator and an action RPG mixed together. You play a prince or princess with amnesia who falls out of the sky into this town called Selphia. And from there, you are growing crops, crafting gears, diving into dungeons to battle monsters, taming those monsters to work at your farm, which is really cool, right? And of course, you have the romancing townsfolk kind of stuff that if you want to do. It's a lot of game in one box, and that's what it actually is. And the people who have played this before adores this game a lot. I can guarantee that you will have 100 hours playing this game. And what makes it work is how all of that actually feeds into itself. The farming pays for your gear gets you deeper for better weapons, and better weapons meaning you can go deeper into the dungeons. The combat is real action RPG combat too, not some token thing tacked into this farming sim with no proper depth or skills or upgrades or whatever. But they have everything here, and that's what's always set Rune Factory apart for me. But the downside of this game being like so many things going on is, of course, there's a lot to take in. There are systems on top of systems, and the early hours, throw a wall of menus and mechanics at you. You can get overwhelmed by it. And of course, not to mention the grinding. Yeah, it is pretty grindy. But this game rewards you massively, and when it does, man, the dopamine hit, it is like nothing else. But in my opinion, the original Rune Factory is still my favorite from the whole lot. There is something about the first game that just, I don't know, I want to play it more than this one. Oh, I don't know. But the problem is there is no PC version of it. It is stuck on the old hardware. It is on Nintendo DS. So when people ask me where to start, I cannot actually point them to the one I love most. So that is why Rune Factory 4 is the one that I recommend to play on PC. It's the most polished entry, and it's the easiest one to actually get into in the modern day. So if you want a farming and fighting RPG together, and then you will spend 100 hours of your life without you noticing, play this game. I know it's quite expensive, so get this one on sale, and it is quite an old game, so of course on sale. And I think this is a hidden gem that a lot more people should know about, and for me, it is worth playing.